Yo, 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 no maniacs, what's good? Welcome to the show. This is Nomad Live, all bears all the time. And here today with us is Kids and me. And guess what, man? We're going to have a show regardless because we got a bunch of stuff to talk about, man. Because if you saw the thumbnail, that will lead you right into where we're going to go today as for a starter. And the injury bug is really starting to hit the Bears, and we're going to have to hopefully we'll get some guys back by Sunday, and that's part of the conversation we need to have today. Do we think we have enough time to get some key dudes back into the fold, get ready to play? That's a big question, man. We're going to talk about each guy individually. May have to do a little bit more research on what I'm not sure what Darnell Wright's injury is, to be honest with you. All I know is he didn't practice today, kid. That's all I know. Got that guy. We've got Daryl
Taylor.
Daryl Taylor. He's sick. Hopefully it's something, some orange juice and a little nip in the bud. You know what I mean? That nip. Get some of that going on. I don't know, but key guys, of course. Tyreek Stevenson is out with the hip. He, I started to see a little bit of that during the game last week, and I'm interested to see what exactly is going on with that. How bad is it? But in the secondary, I feel pretty good. But we can't. I'm gonna be a little bit worried without Darnell Wright, and I'd hope to have Daryl Taylor out there to add to that pass rush to get Matt Stafford a little bit of trouble throwing that ball, but. We're going to talk about quite a few things here before we get into that, man. Let me make sure any of the members of the channel, and of course, we're going to have some extra sauce at 8 o'clock p.m. tonight, 8 o'clock Central, that is. And what we're going to talk about on that show, all you have to do is go to the YouTube homepage, and you'll see. It's kind of going to define for you what that conversation is going to be about. And we'll talk about much, much more on that show, too. But before we get going, man, let me pass it on to you, Canuck. Give out some pleasantries before we start cooking.
Hey, y'all. Got another show for you. I'm going to rock it, figure out a little bit, what's going on with these Bears. We'll get a little bit deeper into how you guys feel later on tonight. That being said, give a little bit of love out to you guys out there. For all your support, as per normal, big shout out to Patty Laura. What it do, Patty? Shout out to Junior. Top 10's out there with us. Today's rocking with us. Good to see you, Top 10. Like, share, subscribe, brother. Mr. Mayhan's out there. King Booker World, live and direct. Super no maniac. King Booker World's rocking with us as per normal. Mo Fugra's out there too. Hey man, let's keep it moving, man. Other people filter in as we go, but there's been a couple of injuries out there. Terrell Smith is also hurting. Trying to remember who else. Oh yeah. Our guy Braxton Jones on the other side of Darnell Wright is also hurting too. So there's been a little bit of bumps going on.
I didn't hear that. What's going on with him?
Oh man,
injury from the last game.
Let me see what happened to Braxton. Kari Blasting game 2. Limited with a knee injury. Suffered this past week.
Hey, I'm with Top 10, man. The Rams are banged up also, but no excuses, man. There's no pity parties in the NFL, man. You play.
Wait a minute, I got 2 more for you. So Andrew Billings, this was a long list I got here too. Andrew Billings, did you mention Billings? No, Andrew Billings, limited with a knee. Montez Sweat. Wait a second.
Man,
Montez Sweat.
Don't tell me too much.
Elbow issue. Kari Blasting game.
Okay.
Due to a hand and knee issue.
Oh man.
So, we got a couple more days to see if things heal up. But speaking of healing up, Keenan Allen was out there, although in limited capacity. He was back out there. So there's a every cloud has a silver lining. Is that how that goes? Something like that.
I don't know. I don't pay no attention to that kind of stuff. When it comes to football, either we got guys or we don't. Was encouraging. I think I saw a little clip one of the reporters put out there. Keenan Allen did look halfway decent. You know what I mean? He's still limited. They ain't got him full go. They had it's Wednesday, so this is a thumping practice right here. So I'm pretty sure he didn't participate in that. But let's talk about the first guy first. Darnell Wright and the logistics of what may or may not happen in the event that he's not playing Sunday. All right, so here's what I think will happen come Sunday if we don't have Darnell Wright. First thing they'll do, they'll put Matt Pryor out at right tackle. This will be our starter. It's going to be some people in the chat right now that's not going to like me saying that, but I believe that's their best bet because here's the thing, kids. As people are trickling into the show, Kieran Amagaji, this will be his second week as active on the 53. I don't know that they're ready to use him in the game yet. You know, I don't know. I really don't, and I wish I could say more, but I can't. But what do you suspect is going to happen if Darnell Wright doesn't play? What do you see the lineup looking like?
Oh man, I have no idea, bro. You think they kick Pryor out to the tackle position?
Absolutely. Nate Davis is your starting guard. You don't like that?
Well, I don't. It's I don't. I got no problems with it. I'm not the offense. You know what I mean? I'm not the offensive line coach, but I would hope that we would have a better situation here, some kind. You think Karan could potentially start at all?
No. I think, you know what? Before I even say that, I think it's worth noting that he's on the active. He's not a healthy scratch. They put him on the roster on the 53 in the event that they need to use him. Now, I think him being on the roster and his usability, I think even if that's even a word, I think that's a break glass moment. I don't think they're ready to put him out there to the world. Or we had probably saw him last week when Braxton went down. They kicked Pryor out. They kicked Pryor out to left tackle for a couple of plays, and then Braxton came back in. So that should tell you or give you some kind of indication of what they might be thinking as far as what to do if you have a limited depth.
Man,
that should tell you something, man.
Huh?
It should tell you something.
Well, it tells me that it tells me that we have to worry about this offensive line again a little bit more so this week than potentially even last week. And this is not an offensive line that's performing well, by all stretch of the imagination. Not in the run game, not in the pass protection game either, right? So, yeah, I would really hate to hear that Darnell Wright is not going to be available this weekend. That hurts, especially right now. If I wonder what the timeline is for Karan.
Most of the reporters, if you want to listen to them that were, close to the situation, listening to polls at the beginning of the off season, after the draft, he was kind of leaning towards, we don't really want to showcase him this year. We want him to sit and learn. But under the circumstances, it seems like, and this is my opinion about what I think needs to happen with Kieran. I think you need this is looking ahead a little bit. And I think we spoke about this before, kids. It's going into the next draft, kind of prospecting whether or not you need to go and draft high for a left tackle. And so how are you going to know if you need to do that or not? Putting Kieran Amagaji in the game? At tackle, at some point they're going to have to they're going to find out if they got something in him, or we're going to go draft high in the draft. I know we need to draft high in the draft for offensive line in the first place. Where people think we ought to draft as far as tackle, guard, that shit's probably all over the place as far as opinion goes. But in my opinion, I've said this consistently. I think we need to draft, let's say, a higher level Braxton Jones. I think Braxton Jones is going to make a fine swing tackle one day. But as a starter, I think, you need to find out what you got in Kieran Amagaji. You need to, or you're going to end up drafting high in next year's draft, and maybe you don't need to because you didn't play Kieran. Look at, we got a Packers fan in here.
Huh?
We got a Packers fan in there.
I know, I saw it. I ignored it specifically and purposefully. But what's up? I'm gonna give Gavin some love because Gavin's out there in Twitch land, and you gotta give the folks out there in Twitch a little bit of extra love. But damn it, Gavin. Damn it. Anyhow.
Hey, welcome to the show, Gavin, by the way. Man.
Anyhow, back to where we were. Yeah, injuries abound. Not necessarily a great situation. I read Greg Gabriel has a great shout out to Greg Gabriel. He has a great article out this week with respect to with respect to Caleb Williams, and he believes that he might have started to see things a little bit better as a QB, and I think he may have
Who said that?
Greg Gabriel, and he had a great article this week in Windy City Gridiron. I appreciate it. Want to give Greg a shout out for that article, but more or less, maybe like what's happening right now is teams are putting 8 or 9 guys in the box at times, on the low end 7, and that's pretty crazy, right? Just overwhelming that offensive line for what it's worth, stuffing the run at the same time, and really forcing Caleb to have to beat them. And as a rookie coming in, that's tough. But he kind of started to do it a little bit this past week. And hopefully some of that is translated. Hopefully some of that is translated to Shane Waldron as well, and how he's going to scheme this next game, because it's been working. And I don't expect it to stop, right? I don't think that's going to stop for a second. But given the status of that offensive line, man, I'm a little worried, bro. I wish I could say that I'm not.
Well, the truth is, everything that you just tapped into for a second there, we're gonna open that SOB wide ass open. Trust me when I tell you, we're gonna open that thing up, dissect it. And we're going to have some surgery and talk about that, because I think it's worth talking about the O-line and how Caleb is responding, the safeties, and what he's doing to combat that in the offense. All that stuff we're going to talk about here in a minute. But before that, we got to get to these injuries and what logistically could happen. Say this next person we're talking about is Tyreek Stevenson. Tyreek Stevenson, I didn't get the indication listening to Flus talk today that they don't feel that good about his injury, but with you saying that Smitty might be still out, to me, the next they did just sign a cornerback too, 6'3", about 215-pound cornerback. He got drafted by the Patriots.
When did Stevenson go down? After practice today?
No. Stevenson got hurt during the last game. He got hurt. He hurt his hip during the last game.
I believe he practiced today, bro.
No, I don't think he did.
He's not on the injury report.
I think he didn't practice. If he did, it was limited. But we do have to talk about what happens if logistically, what do they do? What's their next move? And to me, it's an easy call. It's Jalen Jones as Smitty and healthy. And I like that. I feel good about the depth there, as most people do. I think it's Smitty. It's Jalen Jones. And I think we'll be set. I think we don't really have a drop-off in that department with Jalen Jones back there. I really don't. I think we have equally good talent from Stevenson to Smitty and damn near to Jalen Jones. I think we have equal talent.
I wouldn't go as far as saying that, but I don't think the drop-off is as high is as high as it might be with other teams. I believe both of these guys are quality corners. I believe they actually brought in a new corner this week. I didn't get a chance to check the name. I think they might have added a corner to the practice squad.
They did. Absolutely. His name's Ameer something. I can't think of it
Yeah,
right.
you're right. I think it's Ameer Speed. Now that you're saying it,
Ameer Speed. That's the name. That's right.
Yeah.
I peeped him out real quick. He's a huge corner. You know, of course, Flus likes length and all that kind of stuff. Probably won't ever see the field, but you know, break glass emergency case. Something happens during the week. Knocking on wood.
There goes Richard Long thinking just what I was thinking. Do they elevate Ready? Boom. What it do, Richard?
Hey, Ready probably won't unless if I tell you what, if Smitty looks like he's not ready and they need to look further down the depth chart and go into the practice squad, he's the next guy. No question. That's if Smitty can't go. Like,
well, Smitty's on the so here's the injury report that I have straight from the Bears today. Zach Pickens, groin. Terrell Smith, hip. Darrell Taylor, illness. Darnell Wright, back. Keenan Allen, heel. Andrew Billings, knee. Kari Blasingame, hand and knee. Nate Davis, groin. Braxton Jones, knee. Montez Sweat, elbow. Now, the last 5 from Keenan Allen down were limited in practice today. Okay? The first 4 didn't practice at all.
Okay.
All right. So I don't have a Terrell.
Run me the DNPs again that did not practice.
So DNPs are Zach Pickens, Terrell Smith, Darrell Taylor, and Darnell Wright. Okay. Right. So I think Terrell practiced today. Stevenson, that is. So we may be all right in that respect, and won't have to worry too much by way of Terrell Smith's hip situation. And again, the upside is that we do have a guy like Jalen Jones floating around. And worst come to worst, Reddy Stewart sees the field, and we get 17 interceptions this weekend. I'm just playing around. I love Reddy Stewart. He's my guy.
So, Darrell Taylor is dealing with probably some kind of virus, something flu-related or something in that department. If that's all he's dealing with, I'm not worried about him not suiting up. You know, I mean, there's football players I've dealt with absolute damn near pneumonia and played well. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about that. If that's all he's dealing with, he'll be fine. He'll suit up. But the good thing about that logistically is, you know, he's going to have some nice backup coming here soon, because in I think, what is this, week 4? So after this week, you'll have Jacob Martin. We'll finally get a chance to see. He'll be at least getting ramped up. You know, hopefully he's ramping up now, and so by the time week 5, he can actually make the 53 somehow. So that's a great sign right there that people aren't talking about. So Darrell Taylor, what do you think about that situation?
I'm not. That one worries me much less than the offensive line situations. I'll just be honest with you, because I think we have some interesting depth at defensive end that I'd like to see on the field. Right? That's just me. It'll give Austin Booker an opportunity to see the field a little bit more. He's gotten a few snaps there over the last few weeks. It'll give Daniel Hardy the opportunity to see the field a little bit more. So I'm you know, as well as your guy, right? He's Jacob Martin's coming. Like, is he ready?
He should be. He was on IR. That means you got to sit for. He should have been healthy a couple of weeks ago, but you know, once you're on IR at the beginning of the season, you got to stay down to four games away. You know what I mean? So hopefully he's ready to get up and be a part of what we're doing, man. That's another fastball we can throw at anybody next week. So hell yeah, I can't wait to see him suit up.
See, that'll be an interesting addition. Again, like it's unfortunate with you know the situation with Darrell Taylor, but I could, you know, I'm a little bit less, you know, I'm less worried about the defense right now, man. You know, defense is rocking, so this keeps the defense rocking.
Well, you should be worried more.
They're doing their job out there, man. You know, I'm not sure. Yeah, it'll be a bit of a hit, But I like I say, I think I really liked what I saw in those other guys coming into the season. And we haven't had the opportunity to see Jacob Martin, and they say Jacob Martin's something kind of similar to a Darrell Taylor kind of. So next man up in that situation. I'm interested in seeing what that looks like. I don't think it'll have a real negative effect on the defense. I think they'll survive through. An Andrew Billings situation would be much more worryful for me right now. But Zach Pickens is down too, man. There's another little. He's still down, man.
We got some. We'll talk about it. But you want to answer Illy's question? He must have just popped in.
Yeah, brother. Darnell Wright is well. He did not practice today. Is where we're at. We still got a couple more days before anybody's going to be ruled out. But as of right now, he's a DNP.
Yeah, I don't like that, but I feel somewhat good about what they'll be able to do to keep some continuity there. I like Matt Pryor. I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say it out loud. He's a backup for a reason, right? He's a backup for a reason. I think we need to settle in with that. A lot of teams teams already playing with backups and winning games. So it's not unheard of, man. Teams do it every week, man. It's always guys going down, especially on the O-line. And so I don't think it's reason to hit the panic button or anything like that. But we get a chance to see what we got. We're getting closer and closer to the trade deadline. And, it's better to know than to not know. You know what I mean? So to me, it's going to be a good test for the Bears, to be honest with you. But let's talk about Keenan a little bit. Here's my conversation about Keenan coming back right now. DJ gets a little more freedom, number one. Number two, Caleb will have the opportunity to, and I don't know, I forgot who you said you talking about, Greg Gabriel. He's getting to the point where I'm not necessarily seeing it yet. When I say seeing it, I'm talking about safety manipulation. When they're overcrowding that box and sliding that extra, what we call is a robber, when you slide a safety down into the hot zone, which is the box, right? You slide that extra safety down, and we call him a robber most of the time. When he's able to manipulate that safety and able to burn that safety and make that safety pay, you need a Keenan Allen type of guy to be able to help pull that off, because if you got Keenan, you got Rome, and you've got DJ on the field at the same time, and they're still sliding that safety down into the box, one of those MFers is gonna beat him. It's about whether or not he recognizes it at the line of scrimmage and knows what to do and knows a hot read to do it. So I don't know what Greg Gabriel said, but that's my take on that conversation you brought up earlier.
Very similar things. What wasn't layered on top of it was Keenan Allen. I think that's an important conversation to be had, and it's something that I've been thinking about really since this past game. Really, given these past three games, a lot of targets have gone to DeAndre Carter in the slot position. Fair amount, if you noticed. He's done what he has with them or has not. Take that as you will. That's basically where Keenan Allen should be lining up. What that also affords defenses is the ability to double team DJ Moore, right? Or Rome Odunze if they see the need to do so. So they've been shading over to DJ, right? I would. They've been shading over to DJ. Makes Caleb think DeAndre. But I think we may wind up getting a heck of a lot more out of a healthy Keenan Allen on the field, right? I think that helps open up that quick route, that safety blanket situation for Caleb when they're rushing, when they're bringing more than normal, right?
I'm just going to tell you what DJ said about it was exact right thing. With Keenan out there, the defense has to play the entire field. What does he mean by saying that? He's saying that you can shade and slide coverage to kind of, make it very, very difficult for DJ to be a part of the game. So you kind of have to force balls into him if you're going to throw to him. You're going to put the ball up for jeopardy for the most part. But if you don't, if Keenan is out there, now the defense opens up a little bit, especially on the back end, and it plays a little bit more because Keenan is an intermediate route guy. It's not a guy that, I'm not saying that he can't go deep and be effective deep. He can double move guys and go deep in a minute, but he'll really destroy defenses in the intermediate area between 0 and 15 yards. And so in that space right there is where he really, really works, and you get your money's worth out of Keenan. What they have to do is they have to play the whole field so that the defense kind of goes from a little bit more constricted to a little bit more opened up. And at this point of Caleb's season as a rookie, and it is starting to slightly slow down for him. I can see it on tape, and they're getting him settled into what he needs to do early in the game. So they're not coming right out of the gate trying to force the ball down people's throat. They're letting him sling it, let him get lathered up, and let him do what he does as a quarterback. And now he'll have more to play with. But DJ is definitely going to open up that box just a little bit more, but Caleb still has to do the job of manipulating that safety. And if the safety sticks his nose down there a little too far for a little too long, he's got to recognize it and make him pay. That's what the great ones do.
Well, we'll see as he goes, man. I have a fair amount of faith in the kid, man. I think he'll get it all figured out. And to be honest with you, I think he started to do so this past week. And I hope to see more of that as he grows, as the team gels together. Right. That's really my hopes with the situation. But once more, who I'll throw it back to you. Who do you want to touch on next?
Well, let's go back to Kieran. And I think we didn't get into that enough. Kieran, whether or not he plays, what is it worth having him play this year? Richard Long mentioned something in the chat that I thought, and I responded to him. And he says, when we were talking about Ryan Poles talking about Kieran Amagaji, he was feeling pretty confident and cocky that we wouldn't even need this guy this year, right? And so he kind of called it somewhat of a red shirt season for him. Richard Long asked an interesting question. Can we even afford to have a guy on the offensive line have a red shirt season? A rookie drafted where he was drafted. Can we afford to have him sit out? Or are we going to need him this year?
I didn't really know we were going to go down this particular road. Here we are. No, we can't afford to have a offensive tackle redshirt a year. Can't. Not given the play of this existing offensive line or the injury that's starting to plague them.
Time out. Again, remind me where Kieran was drafted. What round? Was it 3?
I think he's a third round pick.
Let me know in the chat. I believe it's a 3. Can you afford to sit him? I don't think we're at that stage yet.
So they went Quran, and then they went and I'm gonna say the thing nobody wants me to say, and here we go. That's why I was laughing. So he was a 3, and then we did what? What do we do next with the 4th round pick?
We got a punter. We go ahead.
We did what? What did we do? Sorry,
we got a punter, man.
Oh, we got a punter. Yeah.
And so now
he's wicked good though. He's a wicked good punter.
I mean, he's great, but at the this is going into the extra sauce show that we're gonna have tonight, man, because that whole process is worth a conversation at this point. Looking at our O-line, but Kieran, to be specific about him and his situation, Kieran Amagaji, 3rd round pick, injured coming in, and they knew it. That's also been something that's been up for discussion. Like why, when we're lacking depth at offensive line, would you draft a guy in the 3rd round that's injured? instead of somebody that's going to be ready to go and ready to contribute right away.
Oh,
That kind of conversation,
just to time out there, Ryan Pace drafted a guy in the first round that was injured as well. It's just like a Bears thing, I guess. Continue.
No, I'm gonna leave that there, man, because we're gonna save that for some extra sauce. But Kieran's situation, the fact that they've got him on the active roster and he's not on IR, I don't think he'd ever touch the practice squad. Nowhere in Hades was he ever going to touch the practice squad. He could be not on the IR because they can't hide him anymore, and they got him on the 53 because there's nothing else you can do with him but put him on the 53 and have him suck up a spot, but really having no intention on playing him because you don't, for one, maybe they don't think he's ready. That's the thing, kids. We could talk about, hey, we need to stick Kieran in at guard. We need to stick him in at tackle. We need to do this with him, that to him. We don't know how ready he is to play.
Yeah. I'm not like trying, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to force them to play the kid if he's not ready to play. That's not where I'm at all. But like, if he can play, they're starting to maybe potentially require his services, especially with Larry Borum down, right? That swing tackle situation kind of went sideways. Thought we had that locked down, and that went the way that it went. It would be beneficial to be able to access another left tackle at this present time. So we'll see how that spins. But one more again. Why would you draft a guy in the third if you without potentially the intention of playing out?
It's cockiness, man. I think Poles felt really good about this O-line into going into camp. And on paper, it looked good enough for him to feel that way and make that.
Heck, in preseason looked pretty good too, man. I was impressed.
Yeah. So
really got to say it.
I get it, man. I'm telling you.
Preseason football is a thing, man. I don't know.
All you members are in for a treat because this next show that we're going to do some extra sauce, we're going to get right into some of that stuff and why, there's a whole bunch of hit dog hollering going on right there. You know what I mean? It's a whole bunch of yelling and screaming and pointing fingers about the Bears. And like I said to this people, I've said this at the very beginning. We've said this at the very beginning. Don't overreact early in the season. We knew it was going to take a little bit of time. These guys this is a new coordinator, a rookie quarterback, and everybody's getting used to each other. The pieces we added. You know what I mean? It all has to start working together, and this thing will get unlocked and everything will work sufficiently. But the questions need to be asked. The pertinent stuff needs to be discussed. And that is, Kieran Amagaji is one of those questions. Can we afford to have him sit down, or do we need to see what we have before it's too late?
What we have where?
With Kieran Amagaji. Is it time for him to step in? I'll just say this, kids. If he was good enough to play right now, you'd have seen him when Braxton went out. Instead, they pulled the right guard out and put Matt Pryor over there, and they made another move that way. And so that told me then, and I understand that.
Well, he might not have been suited up at all, right? Like I'm not sure. He might not have been suited up.
No, he was suited. That was his first game active on the active 53. I know that.
Oh wow.
And so but it told me you can't hide him on the IR anymore because you're gonna have to deal with the actual league and then be like, hey man, why you still got this dude on IR? The reports are coming back. He's got no serious injuries. He's not reporting any pain, all that kind of shit that they have to go through. You can't hide him on IR forever because eventually you keep doing that shit, he's going to be on season-ending IR, and you won't be able to use him, and you'll never see what you have in Kieran. So eventually they were going to have to put him on the 53. And so, but the fact that they didn't put him in the game, and we were looking patiently and waiting to see what move they would make because it went right into a break. When they came back, it was Pryor over at the left tackle. And so it told me everything I needed to know. They don't think he's ready. And that's kind of almost an indictment, to be honest with you.
Well, if he's, you know what I'm saying. If he's not ready, then he's not ready. It is what it is. They scramble and fill holes as best as they can, and their rookie number one quarterback has to live with the Swiss cheese and incohesion. Right? That's basically what you're telling me. I'm just kind of stuck on how you throw a 3 at that, and then don't back it up maybe with a 4, and get the kicker in the 5. I don't know.
Here's what I think is really going on, kids. I think Poles is down there in practice and watching him. And I think that in his head, he's going to be judged monumentally on whether or not this was the right draft pick. And I think he's hedging his bets by coming out and saying that, we don't expect him to play. We expect him to challenge for a starting job next year. Is basically saying we got a project. And I don't want to put him out there now because I'll get judged if he's not good. And so if they put him out there and he start getting his ass whooped, Post is going to have to eat.
Look, I'm fine. I'm kind of fine with that part. You know what I mean? I'm fine. If he's not ready, don't put him out there, right? Don't embarrass the kid. Don't have him. Don't set him up for failure. Don't put him out there. But my problem is in retrospect here. Like, if you knew that this was an issue, why would you do that? As opposed to getting somebody who was relatively ready to play, or address a different position of need with somebody again who was ready to play, center maybe, or a guard. But I know left tackle was a sticking point for you very specifically, and I think Karan Amagaji is going to be a great left tackle, but kind of need a left tackle right now. It'd be good to have one.
He didn't feel that way towards Braxton, but
hold on. I'm gonna give him a pass. Sorry, I gotta throw a pass out there again. Larry Borum is the pass here. There, I worked this through.
All right.
I had to work it through. With Larry Borum, hold on. With Larry Borum on the roster, right? You have your swing in a worst case scenario, and you can actually afford to have a left tackle at 3 sit for a while. Boom, Larry Borum goes down. Here we are.
Unexpected.
I gotta give the man a pass now that I've processed this through.
We'll dig in a little bit deeper on some extra sauce about that, because that's definitely going to come up again. I think it's more to that. However, let's get this all out there. I'm finna throw some meat into your grinder, kid. Pause. Nate Davis, you okay with him sliding back in at right guard? Because I think that's the move that's going to happen. I think he probably would have started if he wasn't having growing shit going on, and he just had to come in the game because Braxton went down and Pryor had to slide on over. But how you feel about Nate Davis? You good with him, or what's your thoughts?
It is what it is. They at this point they need support on that offensive line, and there's only so many bodies, man. So if that body is Nate Davis, so be it. It is what it is, man. Like that's really where I am. I'm not jazzed about it. I'm also not deflated by it. I'm gonna say that I thought Matt Pryor played pretty decently this past weekend. Was he amazing? Was he the top guard in the league? No, not necessarily. He's got a ways to go. But I think he played a respectable football game there, and I didn't see much of a drop off. Right, I have to put that out there. If any drop off between the two. So with Nate Davis coming back, hopefully he's coming back to actually play football. That's all I got to say about it.
Nate Davis, man. Listen, my only question about Nate Davis is effort. And it starts and stops at effort. You know what I mean? It's not about anything else with me. And effort, I tie effort into willingness, desire, all those things that come with being an effective football player. You got to have them as a baseline. You got to have that as your tent pole, willingness and desire to go out there and battle, because it's a goddamn war when you get out there. It's straight up war for 3.5 hours, and that's what it is. And either you've got the mental makeup and you've got the capacity to dig there and find that individual in you that got you where you are, or you don't. And I think at this point, I've been trying to defend Nate Davis and trying to keep people from being so hard on him. I own that. And,
yeah, you should own that. I'm glad that you're owning it right now.
With all sincerity, man, I don't know what it feels like. I don't know what it feels like to lose my mom, and how I would, what kind of person would I be after that? You know what I mean? That, and I'm not looking forward to that, man. And that right there, it's sensitive to me. You know what I mean?
Me too, brother. Like, if you're thinking that I'm being insensitive, both my parents have passed away, unfortunately. Put that out there right now for the world. Not being insensitive at all. That's it sucks. It's not cool. It's not a cool situation at all. It's definitely a debilitating situation. And perhaps that's really what it is for Nate Davis, period. But, I say, because it's not really about Nate Davis, actually, like, really. The person, the guy, the football player. It's actually about the management of the Chicago Bears football team, really. It's really what it is. As much as we sit here and say, oh, Nate Davis this, Nate Davis that, it's about the guys who run the show and whether they recognize that he's doing what he needs to be doing or is able to do what they require from him. If this is hampering his ability to do what he needs to do what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he needs to be benched, bench him. Doesn't matter how much he's making. That contract has been signed. Bench him. At some point, he'll get the understanding that, okay, all right. If I want to actually continue playing like this, it's probably going to affect my dollars and cents down the road. Might not affect my pocket today, but down the road, perhaps. Well, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, as far as the mother situation, I've been there. I've actually been through this. It is devastating. It's not a good situation, man. But once more, it's not about him and his struggle. It's really actually about the management case scenario. They should recognize this and they should act accordingly.
Respectfully, and I'm just being transparent with people. You just don't know. I've been a warrior all my life, and when it came to football, that was just naturally easy for me. My warrior spirit, just all I had to do was put on some pads, and all I had to do was know I was headed towards the helmets and pads, and my inner warrior just kicked the F in. Everybody doesn't have that, and you never know what that might feel like to lose the key to your being. That's most people's moms. You know what I mean? But trying to find your who you are and what you're worth to this world, all of that stuff that Nate Davis is probably going through. I know most people are like, hey man, get over it, dude. It's life, people. You're gonna lose people. I get all that. But time, heals all wounds. You don't know how much time he needs to be healed. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna play the devil's advocate here. Nobody's feeling sorry for Nate Davis.
Nobody. You know what, man? Just given what you just rounded around, I've been through this. It's not fun. I do feel sorry for him in that respect. But when it comes, if that is what's affecting your play, you need to talk to somebody about it. You need to see somebody about it. It's more or less amounts to a mental health situation for Nate. And if that's what he's experiencing, by all means, I suggest that he takes, that the people around him would suggest that he takes the needed steps to potentially get through that. It's not, again, me and my mom were super close, man. Thick as thieves. End of the day, it can really affect you as a person moving forward. So again, in that respect, 1,000,000,000% feel for the player And that's why I step away from the player and I go back to management, because once more, this is a business. And if this is affecting your business, you do what you have to do. You sit down with the player and you say, hey, like, what's going on? Is it really you're growing? If this is somehow a mental thing because you don't want to do it, that's fine. We have the capability, money, facilities, doctors, experts, etc. We have access to all those things to really help you through these situations. And potentially, Nate Davis might be better off after going through, that process and feeling a little bit more, more healing through that. Again, if that's what's affecting him, but
kid, you'd have to ask yourself. You have to ask yourself. This is my last point on here, and I'm just trying to bring the human element into the conversation because I love, man, and I love people that care. Even though I'm a straight warrior, I'm a lover at the same time. You know what I mean? And I love people that love. And you'd have to ask yourself, if you have that kind of mindset, what would it take to really dampen your spirit and take your spirit away from you and to make you have to revitalize yourself and find that individual again after? What would it take in your life going through a life experience? What things would have to happen to really to do something to affect that? And what would be your number one thing that could happen to a person? What would it be?
Well, I can't say the number. I don't know, but that's definitely on the list, right? Like I'm not. Yeah, you asked me a very open-ended, broad question. And there's lots of terrible things that could happen to people. I'm not going to list them, but that's definitely one of them. No, especially in situations where I don't know Nate Davis personally. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if he's from a single. Say what now?
I said thank you for acknowledging that.
Oh, well, I don't. If I don't know if he comes from a single family home, he might be very close to his mother. I do. I was. I like, and this is what I'm trying to say. Like, if at any point you feel that I'm coming from a place where I actually have not gone through these things, 1,000,000,000% been there, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's just.
I know that, but the people don't know.
No, I'm letting the world know. I'm letting the world know. I've personally been through that. These are the types of things that can, totally throw you for a loop, push you sideways, and make you care less about things that might, it may shift your priorities, right? Rearrange your priorities for you. And sometimes you need a kick in the pants to make yourself reassess your priorities. Sometimes that priority reassessment leads to you saying, you know what, I just want to take my life in a completely separate direction. But that's the type of life event that, can trigger a complete shift in an individual's priority set. Now, let's move.
Look at Jason here, man.
Let's also note that, again, some of this feeling existed was it Indianapolis or Tennessee where he came from?
He was in Tennessee. We're talking about practice habits and shit like that now.
Well, I'm just saying, like some of the same feeling existed before.
No, I don't think this is the same thing. I think there's two separate things. People don't look at practice the same way I looked at practice. It was just like anytime I got a chance to put the pads on, let's go. Everybody don't feel that way. It's like, all right, get me to the game and I'm good. You got players like that. But listen to what Jason UK Bears is saying. He said, these are life-changing events. You aren't the same person afterwards.
Yeah.
That's his spiritual statement as I can think of right now under these circumstances in this conversation. The truth is he might be trying to refine. He might be trying to rediscover himself, man.
That's what I'm saying, right? This type of situation can really rearrange your personal priorities. Things that you thought were important before that event might not be quite as important after the event. Again, stuff like that can affect the way that you move, the way that you move afterwards. So shout out to Nate. Shout out to, shout out to Nate Davis, man. Just a little bit of love to him as a fan base. He went through a situation, and maybe a little bit of shakeup here. We'll just call that last week or the last couple of weeks. Maybe that's what he needed to get back into form. So let's hope for the best for Nate.
So I just want to say this real quick before we slide. We got one more topic to talk about before we get out of here and get ready for some extra sauce. I just appreciate everybody in the chat today on this subject, talking about, in particular, Nate Davis, and being sensitive to, instead of being hyperbolic about it. And, it's easy to sling them arrows at people when, he's an easy target right now, very easy target. And it's easy to do that and be just like everybody else and let them arrows fly and hit them, but I just appreciate you guys for being introspective and imagining what that might have to be like for all you guys that have lost your mom and what it feels like, and all you guys that can't imagine what that fucking shit feels like. And I don't look forward to it. I really don't. And I don't judge a man based on something like that. And, I just don't, I refuse to. So people can tell me all the shit they want to tell me, Nomad, you can't conform, you this, you that. I don't give a shit. Man, I'm sensitive when it comes to that kind of stuff, man, because I know how deep it runs. And so with that being said, we're gonna park that conversation right where it is. And I just want to say thank you again to everybody that was sensitive to that, because it didn't really have to go there, but we took it there. How about this whole situation with Roshan? And it seems to me like his role will probably be elevated this week. Straight up leapfrogging Khalil Herbert and his input. Let's get some quick thoughts about that. And what do you think is going on there? You heard me say last on the other show that I did by myself, if you watched that one, or on the last show that we did together. I think they have a plan for Khalil Herbert. And I can't think of any other reason why they're not using him other than, damn it, they don't plan for this guy to be on the team. Maybe they plan on trading him and trying to limit his usage. I don't know. I don't know what do you think?
I don't want to go here either. I don't know what to think, because it ain't working all the way around. And that's really what I'm trying to say right now. I don't think elevating Roshan Johnson is the answer by any stretch of the imagination. And I hate to say that out loud, guys. Like I hate to say it out loud, but I don't. I don't know. I don't know at all. He hasn't really shown it to me personally. I want to see it. I'm not hating on it. I think Khalil's a pretty good. I think Khalil's a pretty good back, and he's kind of proven that he's a pretty good back over the years. Refusing to use him when you're having trouble running the ball is just that's just stubbornness to me, right? The problem with what you're saying is it doesn't make any sense. It's the problem, right? Like you're saying, so we're not going to use him. We're going to bubble wrap this guy. We're going to bubble wrap him in case maybe we can trade him. Yeah. But what's happening while you're bubble wrapping this guy? His stock is tanking because clearly you're refusing to play him for some reason. That's not going to look good. That's not going to look positive.
I got to fight back on that one, man. I don't think his stock is being affected none whatsoever when it comes to that, because Khalil Herbert's worth is on paper. They know what Khalil Herbert can and can't do. I think this is, if you had to find any logical,
so then they should play him then, right?
Well, here's my second best guess. When we're talking about a rookie quarterback and you're talking about your best pass protectors, who's your better pass protector under this rookie quarterback situation? Roshan or Khalil?
Bro, play the extra tight end.
I'm just saying, when we're talking about why isn't
if that's a problem, I don't know what the answer is, because it's all wrong But I don't think the answer is not running Khalil Herbert. That's what I think. I think that's not the answer. I think you got to run all of them guys, including, and again, said it. This is like the third show I'm saying this on, including Velus Jones. Run them. Run all of them guys because it ain't working.
I am not going to argue with that. I don't. There's something. I think there's something clearly we all aren't getting. I'm sorry about that, Nick. I was just taking that comment down. I don't know what exactly it is, but it's clearly something that we all aren't privy to. Because other than that, what could you say about Khalil Herbert to make you not put him in the game and hand him the ball when you're not getting good yardage out of DeAndre Swift and you need probably a more north-south runner versus an east-west kind of guy that DeAndre Swift is? No, and you can't put any and all of that shit on DeAndre Swift. I'm telling you right now, we're going to talk about this in the next show. That offensive line ain't moving no fucking body. When I say nobody, I mean nobody. And you ain't going to win in the trenches if you can't. You ain't going to get what you thought you were going to get out of a running back that you just paid millions to if you can't move no goddamn body. And so, I don't give a shit who they put in there. If they don't get it blocked up, it's not going to look good. So, but there's still no excuse for Khalil Herbert not seeing the field more than he's seen the field, other than that they're trying to limit his uses because they have another plan.
Hey, look, if the Swift thing was working, yeah, do whatever you want to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do whatever. If you don't want to play Khalil, if you want to play him, if you want to throw him in a wildcat, maybe want some blue, do whatever you want to do. But my simple point is just it ain't working, guys. Right now, 3 games in, against worst run defense in the league, they're like 70 yards collectively. That's a problem, bro. Like they throw the kitchen sink at the problem and see what happens. Because if I'm here yelling for if I'm saying Velus Jones needs to run the rock, it ain't working.
That's another thing. We'll talk about that on the next show too. I do think they do need some explosion. They do need a little bit more dynamics, and the flat out fact of it is that Velus Jones brings that other fastball to the table. He will run in between the tackles and he will make something work. I think he's been in the doghouse for a couple of weeks and he earned it, but enough's enough. It's time to get him on the 53 and let him play, and see what we can get, because I think we're going to need him this week. To be honest with you, I think and again, I'm trying to save some stuff for the next show, but I do think Matthew Stafford and anybody that's looking at that on paper and saying, oh, no, Puka Nacua, oh, no, what's his name, Cooper Kupp, man, you must be kidding me. Matthew Stafford will eat this fucking team alive if they come out here and come play flat and bland and playing that zone, man. He's a zone connoisseur. He will not only bend this defense, he would bend it, and break it on command. I'm telling you guys right now, do not feel comfortable thinking just because the Rams are busted up and injured like we are, they've got Matthew Stafford. We don't. Just know that shit going into the game. I got nothing but respect for what that guy can bring to the table. He is absolutely vicious when it comes to recognizing what a defense is trying to do to him and finding the weak spots. And so I just wanted to put that out there, man, before we wrap this thing up and get ready for some extra sauce. And so let's pass it on to Canuck and let's give out some pleasantries before we bounce up out of here.
All right, y'all. Big love. Thanks for representing. Thanks for showing us some support. Give you guys a little bit of love, just like you give to us. Mr. Mayhem, what it do? Jason, UK Bears, shout out to you, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. Illinois Jones, always good to have you. Richard Long, C. Spraggs, Michael H., Double M, Daryl Gibson. Been a little bit, Daryl. How you doing? What's up? Brew Ha, Maple Syrup, brother. Jigsaw. Who else we got out there? Big shout out to Mo Fugra, Super No Maniac No Fugra, Super No Maniac, the Naj. Yo, me and Naj been chopping it up about some hockey. Bob Probert, big love, man. Old school NHL stuff. Ralph Love, what it do? Who else am I missing out there? I think I got most of the folks out there. Plankster, how could I forget the Plankster? Say what up to Sheep Plank for me, brother. Always love, brother. Damn it, Jim. Jim Hunter's holding it down with us. Jigsaw's out there too. Always love to Aunt Moss and Smitty Q and Patty Laura and our guy Junior. Big shout outs to all of you guys. Thanks for representing. And mad love to King Booker World. That being said, throw it out to Nomad so we can close this baby up.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, what up, Black Diamond? Just popped in at the last
Hey.
minute. Appreciate you.
Oh, and Jay Grizz. Sorry, Jay Grizz.
All right, yeah, hell yeah, Jay Grizz. But yeah, listen, I want to put this out here and say it one more time. And just as a reminder to, we are fanatical Bears fans. I don't think anybody's in this show or a part of this show, whether it's us, me and you kids, or anybody that's part of the network, or anybody that's in this chat that's not fanatical about football and fanatical in particular about the Chicago Bears. You have to be, or you wouldn't be here. Number one. Number two is it's never, you're never gonna waste an opportunity by reminding people that, I think UK Bears said it, or I'm not sure. It might have been Richard Long. I apologize. I don't remember who exactly said it, but one thing people have to remember is there's a human behind every one of those uniforms. Every single one of those guys are human. We sling arrows, we throw rocks, we poke with pitchforks, and we hit with chains and bats. But you got to remember these are just humans. They're prone, like you are, and I am prone to mistakes, and big ones at that. You know what I mean? We all come from different degrees of upbringings and backgrounds, and all the things that make people the humans that they are. Experiences, life experiences, man. You just don't know what somebody's going through until you know what they're going through. I'd be willing to bet my dollars to your dimes that if you sat down with Nate Davis and got an introspective conversation with him about where his mindset is and who he is as a person, you got to kind of feel Nate Davis for who Nate Davis is, guarantee you that anybody would come back and feel totally different about him, man, because he's a whole human being. He's let us down a couple of times, and probably more times than we're willing to count, and that sticks with people. And I understand that. You know what I mean? As a fan, you want to see your team win, and when they don't, you want to see where the leaky faucets are. And Nate Davis has made himself a pretty convenient target, and just to acknowledge that. But don't ever forget what kind of humans these people are, and just with respect to them, have some kind of reverence for what they have to do. Because me being an ex-football player, I never expected nobody to feel sorry for me or anything like that, and they didn't. But I always wondered, what it would have been like if something really dramatic would have happened in my life, what that would have done to my spirit while I was playing this game that I was so ferocious about. Could have changed something. I don't know. But with that being said, man, don't forget that you're human. Take pride and joy in being a human and every range of the emotions that come with it. The angry all the way to the sad, and all the stuff in between. Embrace it because that's just part of your human nature. Just embrace it. Don't try to push it back. Embrace your sadness as much as you embrace your joy. But that's what I would leave you guys with. Love you all. Appreciate you. And don't forget, man, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you haven't, if you're new to the show, this is the first time, make sure you hit that. Make sure you hit the like button if you haven't. Man, we always have people in here, and don't stop and hit the like button. We love you all, man, but we just wish every last one of you would go stop and hit the damn like button for just once, man. I just want to say that. And also, and I'm just having a brain fart right now. Oh, hit us up in the comment section. If what we were talking about today, we didn't get to all the stuff that you want to talk about, hit us up in the comment section. We do respond. We'd like to hear what you have to say about the whole situation. But with that being said, we got to get out of here because we got another show in less than an hour. But with that being said, I got to leave you with these famous words. If you can think it and you can see it, people. There's nothing getting in your way from manifesting it other than yourself. You just got to get the hell on out of your way and make it happen. But with that being said, we are